My family is furious that I canceled my arranged marriage.
She's arranging a way to get away from you guys.
For context, our marriage was arranged by our families, and we only had a month to get to know each other.
30-day new wife A.
At first, I was willing to go through with it just to please my family, even though I knew I wasn't attracted to him in the slightest. My family pressured me into the marriage mainly because his family is wealthy. By the way, this comes from General Airport 1491, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Riley.
I'm Keon.
And OP says, as time passed, I slowly realized I couldn't see myself living that kind of life anymore. Or forever. Still, I was ready to commit if we both understood that we had no romantic feelings for each other and treated it as a practical arrangement rather than an emotional relationship. What I didn't expect was that he would actually fall in love with me, or at least that's what he says. We had only known each other for a month, but he was already showering me with affection and attention, way more than I could ever give back. I was always indifferent and never initiated anything, and it became obvious that this was hurting him.
I would love to talk to someone that arranges marriages.
Yeah.
From my assumption,
Yeah, arrange better.
if the guy's getting set up with like a beautiful woman, the family's hopping him up. Yo, dude, I got you. Like, look at your wife, soon to be wife. Dude, check that out, dude. You're doing great. And on the other hand, the wife's like, he's okay. It's probably I feel like the guy might be led on a little bit, and that's why he's super.
Yeah. I wish that like more. I mean, like I know this happens sometimes, but it happens. But I feel like people arranging marriages got to start finding like personality matches.
Oh yeah, not your family
Is rich.
has a calf, or
Yeah.
your family has a textile furniture company. My family's a textile furniture company.
Yeah.
We can have an empire.
Yeah. Like let's start getting personality matches in there.
Yeah, dude.
Could have a personality and a textile factory. He was constantly seeking validation to the point where he told me that if I couldn't love him, I should say so and we should call off the wedding because being with someone who loved him was important to him. That's fair. It's pretty fair.
He's not the bad guy there.
Yeah, that's just fair. I asked my family for advice and they all told me it was a good thing he was in love with me, but that love can be forced over time and that I would eventually develop feelings for him. But no matter how much time I spent with him, I couldn't appreciate him, let alone love him. His constant need for my approval and affection was suffocating and the love bombing was more off-putting than anything else. To try and make things work, I suggested we live together for a week to see how it went. And I asked him to tone down the affection because I couldn't force myself to reciprocate at this stage.
Girl, this is so mean what you're doing.
Me?
Tell him no. Tell him
Oh, well,
it's not
yeah.
going to work.
I think that if you can't feel like you can love him and you know that he needs you to love him to be in this relationship, then you have to call it off.
Don't lead him on
Yeah.
like this. He's going
gotta.
he's going to cook you so many things. He's going to put so much effort into this relationship. You're going to feel,
Yeah.
don't do that.
He agreed, and the week together seemed to go well. But after I left, my mom told me he had cried to her, asking for advice on how to make me love him and saying he missed me. That was when I realized I didn't want to babysit him. As long as he couldn't accept that I had no feelings for him, this was going to be painful for both of us. But that's not the worst part. My parents blamed me for rejecting his affection. According to them and him, I made absolutely no effort to make the relationship work while he was putting in all the effort. Everyone sided with him. I was ungrateful, inconsiderate, and should be shamed.
I wonder why.
You
I was about to
literally
say.
like a little bit ago, your parents said, oh, you can just force love later. And now they're like, why aren't you forcing the love right now?
Remember, he has money, honey.
Yeah, force that love.
And emotions.
Yeah. Yesterday, I finally decided to end things. I told him that if he wasn't willing to date me for at least 4 more months to see if we were actually compatible, I don't want to marry him. Super reasonable.
Yeah, this is reasonable on both sides.
Yeah, to be like, let's wait a little bit and maybe I could fall in love with you, but certainly can't do it in a month. Basically, I asked him to postpone the wedding and give things a real chance first. But he wasn't okay with that. He said he didn't want to waste his time and that if I didn't love him now, there was no point in continuing.
Great. All right, we're done now.
Perfect.
Great. Perfect. Cool.
Wow, this guy is never going to find love
No, in
then.
a month? Jeez.
I think he can.
He'll find someone. Now everyone's mad at me. They keep telling me I'll never find another man like him, which is probably true. But even worse, my own parents are siding with him. They say I've ruined their relationship with his family, that he didn't deserve this, and that any other girl would have immediately accepted him. Well, then go find any other girl. They even said they don't know why they got a daughter like me.
What are the politics of your families? That's the real question. Like OP's really, her mind's on, I don't want to marry this dude. What's the broader picture here?
Yeah, why do they need to have a good relationship with his family?
What are these families going to accomplish together?
Yeah. I do feel bad for him, but I'm also angry that no one is considering my feelings. I was willing to give the marriage a chance, but only if we actually got to know each other first. He was the one who wasn't okay with that. At this point, I don't know what to do to make things better, because the only way to fix this is to completely disregard myself for the sake of everyone else's happiness. This whole situation has been really painful. My mother literally cried yesterday when I told them I was ending the relationship. Wedding preparations had already started and money had been spent, so needless to say, they're not taking it well. But the hardest part for me is knowing that my relationship with my parents might never be the same after this. If it comes to cutting ties, then so be it. I'm an adult and they're not responsible for me anymore. They also blame me for not reciprocating his feelings, despite everything he did for me. I wish I could have fallen in love with him, but I don't think it ever would have happened. In a way, I'm also doing this for him. He would have ended up miserable and resentful if we had gone through with it. For now, I just want to focus on my life and my studies. My sisters are the only ones who actually listen to me, but unfortunately, there's nothing they can do to change my parents' minds. I also come from a very religious household, and after everything that's happened, my parents are convinced that karma will come after our family because of what I've done.
Oh my goodness.
Yikes.
Girly Pop, I'm sorry.
Why don't we, I don't know. Why does OP got to be the one?
Taking a hit? It just wasn't a match. It wasn't a match
It
on his
wasn't
part.
a match.
It wasn't a match on her part.
He didn't want it either.
Yeah, let's find another family.
Start over. Breaking my promise to marry him, hurting someone's feelings, leading him on, being ungrateful, and so on.
Okay, what are the politics?
I'm
what are the
sorry.
politics here? That's what I need to know.
They wanted you to lead him on. They literally said, just marry him and you'll fall in love later. That's leading him on.
It's literally running before crawling.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I personally think I did nothing wrong. Maybe I should have rejected the arranged marriage proposal from the start, but I'm sorry for only doing it after things got serious. It honestly makes me sad that they truly believe this and are now worried about our future. I just hope it doesn't end up causing them too much stress. And there are some comments, but yeah, you did nothing wrong.
You just got a different pace.
Comment 1. I know you were probably brought up in a way that you would feel bad about this, but you are not to blame at all. Do what is best for you. Your family doesn't carry the consequences of this. You do. In a few months, they'll be fine with your decision, but if you go against yourself, you might never be okay with it. So listen to yourself. You're doing the right thing. Comment 2 says you'll never find another man like him. That's exactly the point. You've made the right decision and saved yourself from many unhappy years. You deserve to be happy. Comment 3, you got your answer when he refused to consider investing 4 months into a relationship, but then wants 40 years of commitment? Reply says that's how it works in arranged marriages. Sad, but the truth. 4 to 6 months is the maximum time some families, if they allow, will give you. Majority, you have to make a decision within weeks to 3 months max. Crazy. And there is an update, but yeah, don't go through with it.
Don't do it. I wish we had a friend that does arranged marriages so we can ask how this is, because I don't know, if I was a matchmaker and I knew neither of them really vibed with each other, it would be a disservice to have them work together.
I feel like that would be bad for your business, but it doesn't seem like there's not a matchmaker involved. It's the two families.
I recently watched a video essay about the cheating culture in Japan, and that marriages were a business affair between families. And usually once they get married, they live in separate households, and the man would have mistresses, and the wife could have a partner, but if they're seen with a partner, they could be charged for it. The man can get away with it, but the wife couldn't. And that changed in 1942. Thus, it's kind of a new thing to be monogamous rather than cheating. So some people's ideas about cheating, most people in Japan are like, you can't cheat at all. But it's usually what happens if your boyfriend cheats with a prostitute? They're like, all right. It's that's kind of what's happened beforehand. So that's the conditioning there. And I feel I don't know what this culture is specifically, but if it's just between two families, I feel like the system should change where, arranged marriages could still happen, but it needs to jive and everyone needs to be happy in this.
I mean,
it shouldn't be a one-sided relationship.
Yeah. Why would you not want your child to be happy?
Yeah. And then resentment in a relationship. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I also don't think that arranged marriages are necessarily bad. I think that there are a lot of instances where arranged marriages work out really well. Because it's literally just like a family being like, hey, I feel like this person would be. It's not a forced marriage. That's different. Forced marriage, bad. But like arranged marriage, it's usually just two people being like, or two families being like, hey, we know a guy.
Yeah, the good thing that I've heard about arranged marriages is like your family knows you.
Yeah.
And they can find someone.
And usually within your own culture. So you have a lot of like cultural, sameness.
And they're not just setting you up with someone.
Yeah.
Like the way the family's going about here.
Bad.
But other ways it's like, oh yeah, guess who else I found that likes the bicycle.
But there is an update. I ended things with my ex-fiance, but there was an arrangement we made at the beginning of our relationship with him and his family. Since he was already considering me as his bride and the wedding was just the final step to formalize things, he offered to pay for all of my monthly tuition fees until the end of the school year. My parents and I accepted, since that's how things work in our culture.
Oh boy, you got to pay that back somehow.
Now that we'd broken up, he reached out to my parents and told them that since he gave it his word, he would still pay for my university expenses for the rest of the semester.
Oh,
dang. Wow. That's nice.
I could see where he could be a little hurt here.
Yeah. I think it's really considerate and generous of him, and since it was part of the original agreement, my parents accepted. They were like, yeah, well, I guess because we made the agreement, we have to do it. It'd be rude to not accept.
In your thesis, you better thank him. You
Yeah.
better. For this person.
Yeah, thanks to my almost husband. But we would thank you if you listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story.
Do you want anything?
For the parents, it was always about the money.
Yeah.
And I feel like...
And they're still, they're getting something out of it. So.
Yeah, the fact that this is happening, they're like, oh, wait.
They're like, okay,
Maybe we're
not that
okay with you,
mad.
daughter.
We're not that mad, I guess.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were not mad anymore.
No, they're still pretty mad because they're like,
Yeah.
we could have had that
Could
money
have been
too.
way more rich. If it were up to me, I would have thanked him and declined the offer. But I feel like I don't really have a say in it. My family isn't as wealthy as his, and it's going to help us out financially, especially since I don't have a job yet. But I'm also really conflicted and can't shake the feeling that it's wrong, even though he insists it's not about that, and he's just keeping his word. I feel like I'm taking advantage of him. I'm not sure what to do. Should I just accept it and move on, or should I say something? And comment 1, considering that man's feelings towards you, that feels like this is a gift with strings attached. That's what I think, but
Yeah.
it also feels like, I don't know if you could even say no, because this feels like more of a your family and him decision. Unless it's going to make your family social pariahs, I would politely decline. OP says, it means I have to convince my parents to refuse his help because the money goes directly into their bank account. I'm not sure if this is a gift with strings attached. He insists it's purely about keeping his word to my parents and has nothing to do with his feelings for me. But at the same time, it's clear he's struggling with his feelings. It's not exactly going to make them social pariahs, but it would help them financially. Comment 2, yeah.
The family wanted a financial gain from this arrangement, and they're getting it without you getting married to him. I would decline.
I would too, but I don't think it's really OP's decision.
Dang.
Comment 2 says, it sounds like trying to convince your parents is not going to work. If you already told your ex that you feel it's wrong to accept money from him and he still wants to pay for your schooling, then that's his choice. If he tries to use it against you later, please keep screenshots of your conversation where you told him you do not want him to pay for your schooling and remind him that you did not want to accept his money. I wish the best for you in this situation. No one deserves to force love. And that is the end of that story, but I agree. And I'm glad that you did not go through with it, because that would have been a bad decision.
It would have not been good for anyone.
But that's the end of that story, and we've got another one coming right up.
My father disguises his hurtful comments as jokes.
You're so funny.
There's a trigger warning here for emotional abuse. My family dynamic has always been a bit odd. My parents, 60 male and 65 female, and I aren't super close, and we've never been in a very openly affectionate family, which is fine. I do believe my parents love me and care for me in their own way, and they've been very financially supportive. They helped my partner, male, 24, and I with buying a house by signing for the mortgage.
Oh my God.
And by the way, yeah, that's a big deal. By the way, this comes from user Crazy Bree Lady. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. And OP says, we're not here because my parents are such lovely people, though. No. We're here because my dad is a bully. I have a long history of friction with my dad. He grew up in a poor household and still carries shame, insecurity, and resentment from that into adulthood, which translates into looking down his nose at others outside of his work circles.
Dude, I've been at the receiving end of this.
What, just the
It's
guy who's like,
true.
back in my, I didn't have no handouts, and back in my day, I had to freaking wrestle bears for 20 cents.
As a guy that runs off of words of affirmation, getting this guy to tell me a good job was as if he was shooting his own foot, and he couldn't do it.
Just pulling teeth. Just it could have been better. I've had to deal with constant jabs about my emotional stability and intelligence, which, when confronted, would suddenly become jokes that I shouldn't take so seriously. If I pushed it because I was just called a hysterical twit to my face by my father, his mocking laughter would change to anger, and I would be told I was being dramatic and needed to stop being hysterical. It's a dance we've performed hundreds of times. I might hit you with maybe a little bit of cold water here. It takes two to tango, my guy. I understand your dad's being immature and joking and poking at you, but guess what? You just stop acknowledging that conversation.
You know what sucks? If you like throw it back at him, he's going to be so offended. He cannot take it.
Right. That's why you just don't. You just in one ear, out the other. And when you stop reacting, he'll stop doing it. Hundreds of times is too many times to not get that. But it's hard with family. When I started standing up for myself more, he began acting like I was volatile and would tell people that I was very feisty and opinionated. You'll want to tread carefully or she might suddenly bite your head off. The jokes continued, albeit more subdued. Which brings us to yesterday's debacle. My parents invited me and my partner out for lunch and a walk in a nearby town. Everyone appeared to be having a good time until we had a snag over lunch where my dad kept loudly comparing my earrings to cow tags. I responded that it's a good thing I'm not a cow then, before turning back to my mom. Eventually we headed home, which is where my partner let me know that he'd prefer to keep a low profile with my parents going forward because things had been said about me. Initially, he didn't want to divulge what, but I dragged it out of him.
Oh, no.
Not the parents actually sabotaging their daughter's relationship. That's crazy.
See, I'm cool with you talking crap in front of me, but behind my back, totally different thing. Totally different.
Apparently, over lunch with me and conversation on the other side of the table, my dad told my partner that, quote, the more emotionally stable one of you two should get their driver's license. I'm sure you know what I mean. I took driving classes a few years ago, but had to quit because I kept needing extra classes and ran out of money. I haven't picked it back up because I hate driving. Sounds like that's a good thing. I don't have the money or space for a car, and I can get around fine with public transportation. It might not seem like a big deal in the grand scheme of things, especially considering our past, but it hurt so much to hear that. It crushed me that my dad would insinuate not only that I'm too emotionally unstable to function like a grown adult, but more than that, I felt enraged and humiliated that he would make a comment like that to my own partner. I'm not going to lie. If you need so much driving school that you run out of money, you probably shouldn't be driving.
Yeah, because you got to pay for a car, pay for gas, and pay for insurance.
No, I'm not. To be clear, because I don't want it misunderstood. I'm saying you might be just so bad at driving, you should not do it.
I don't think that's what he's saying.
I think that is. They took so many driving classes, they still did not pass. They ran out of money for the driving classes.
I thought it was, I took the thing twice, didn't get it, and then I was like super busy with other classes that I just haven't had money to like do another class.
No, I kept needing extra classes.
Oh, got
I'm
it.
pretty sure it means that you just they
kept
did
failing.
not learn how to drive right.
Yeah, I don't know. If you can get around without driving, I say do it. It is a little frustrating not being able to drive and having to depend on others to drive you around.
Depending on where you are, it's real doable.
Yeah.
You know? And, yeah. It's like if I wanted to fly planes and I failed plane flying class 5 times in a row, I might reconsider flying planes. Just putting that out there.
Yeah.
To say it to my face is one thing, but to drop that on my partner's head like that in public, casually in conversation, and expect him to smile and nod along is a whole different league. I bawled my eyes out for over an hour. I ended up calling my parents who had visitors over at the time, so I asked them to call me back, and I briefly explained to my mom that I was very upset about something my father said to my partner earlier that day. And when my dad called me back, I asked him to get my mom as well and put me on speaker. I asked him if it was true that he said this to my partner, and he hemmed and hawed initially said that he didn't remember what he said, and then loudly proclaimed, "Oh yeah, I remember. I did say something like that, but you have to understand, it was just a joke." My mom interrupted him to ask what he meant by that comment and got upset with him. I stated that I was absolutely not okay with being spoken about this way, much less to my partner, which led my father to first say, "Oh, well, sorry," and then try to explain that it wasn't that serious and he didn't mean it like that. It was taken out of context, and it's a commonly known joke in society that women can't drive and are emotionally unstable.
Ha ha ha! He's so funny. You're so funny.
He's busting out the classics.
Wow, everyone's laughing.
Yeah, come up with some original content. Yeah, that's a stereotype. But dude, let's get creative. This isn't a joke. This is you like throwing a passive aggressive thing around.
Oh, yeah, he's being an a-hole. Want to hear my joke?
What's up?
So the context for this story time is that I was with my girlfriend at the time. She is telling me a story about how her and her friend, from her mouth, terrible drivers. She said it.
Okay.
She says they're both terrible drivers, and she's amazed that they survived the road trip they went on. And then just as a joke, I put on like the Count voice from Sesame Street, and I said, "What's worse than one woman driver? Two women driver. And she did not like that joke.
Yeah, I feel like if someone brings up
But she set
something
it up.
like that, sort of like,
She teed me up.
yeah.
She said that they were terrible drivers, not me. I just
Yeah.
played into what she already established. But I had to learn sometimes your girlfriends don't like your jokes.
Yeah, and like if you want to joke, hey, OP, you gotta start being a comedian back at Daddy-O. Be like, women can't drive, and then you could be like, well, you think mayonnaise is spicy?
I don't know. I just hit him with something like, "Dad,
Okay.
what's my favorite color?"
Here we go.
And then when he doesn't know, be like, "You're a great dad."
Here we go.
And then, yeah.
Here we go. Okay, Boomer. Whatever you think, Boomer. Just call him Boomer.
Yeah.
Don't love
Okay,
that.
Boomer. Be like, "Okay, weirdo. Okay, weird guy.
Boom.
You're so weird, Dad.
Ah.
You're a weird guy."
But I don't know. Study
Go
up
do
on
more
s-
taxes.
Yeah, do more taxes. Go to a country club. I don't care.
Go work on your golf swing. You suck at it.
Boom.
And then he'll be like, oh.
I drove an 18 the other day.
You broke an 18.
Yeah.
He shot all hole in one.
Yeah. I didn't know what that was going. Anyways, let's keep going.
That'd be crazy. The craziest lie. Yeah, I shot an 18. Shut up. I reiterated that I don't appreciate being spoken to or about that way, especially to my partner, and that this is far from the first time this has come up. At this point, I just didn't know how much clearer I could make it that I was not okay with being labeled an over-emotional, unstable simpleton by my own father. My dad also started getting upset, and it culminated in him shouting down the phone that it was all being massively overstated and being taken out of context, and that he had already apologized and refused to do it again, and then he hung up. My mother ended up calling me back half an hour later with the first question out of her mouth being, "Well, what's actually the problem with your father's comment here? Is it just because it's not female friendly or about the driver's license? Because I mean, let's be real, you're not really prime material for driving, but I mean, neither am I." I told her that it was about the fact that my father said something outrageously sexist about me, his own daughter, to my partner, and insinuated that I am incapable of being a functional adult because I'm a woman, and that this is just the latest in a long history of him talking to me this way. But now he had gone much too far. She responded, "Yes, my dad is a sexist, stuck in the 50s in that regard, but I should know by now that that's just how my dad is, and I should learn to accept it." And actually, they felt that after all they had done for me, I wasn't really being very appreciative. Honestly, did I appreciate what they did for me at all?
Ooh, so they gave you a house, like they figured out your house thing with strings attached? Yikes. Just because you pay for something doesn't mean you get to say what you do with my life anymore. Okay, Boomer.
She said she understood where I was coming from, but felt like I had taken it too far, and it had been very upsetting for my dad, so he would be keeping his distance for a while, but her and I could definitely still talk. I told her that I was plenty appreciative of what they had done for me, and I realized I was very lucky, but I sure hope she agreed that I don't need to fall over myself with gratitude for my dad's comments about me as a person. This was met with some hemming and hawing on her side, and then a sing-songed, "Well, I just hope we can all move past this soon. Anyway, I'll be going. Good night." And then I'm just going to let them stew. If they want to apologize properly, the door is always open, but they'll need to figure that out themselves. In the meantime, I do have the overwhelming support and love of my friends and my in-laws, and my partner is doing his very best to prop me up. It has made me appreciate all the more how loved and supported I am, truly. But God, does it feel lonely all the same. And we have an update. Looks like it's a week later.
Sounds good to have everyone take some time away from each other. Your dad definitely does have a perspective on you, on how he should be received, how his, he can do whatever he wants, and that should be okay because he has money and he can throw money, his money at his problems. The baseline of this is a lack of respect.
Yeah.
And he doesn't feel respected by you. You don't feel respected by him. And it's because of his actions. And you're just, you're mirroring his actions. You're not going to respect me. I'm not going to respect you. Why should I? 24, right?
Yeah, I don't even think OP is really being that disrespectful. It's just more like when you say these things, I feel like you're attacking my character to my partner.
Yeah,
you're just like saying things that make me look bad.
Yeah, I agree. But
why would you do that?
But in the dad's eyes, he's like, you're being disrespectful. I paid for this. I did this. It's a very transactional relationship. I pay for you. I get to make fun of you.
Yeah, and again, all the way back to the first thing I said in the story. Stop doing this. Don't be like, you need to apologize. What you said was unacceptable. Just freaking move on. The weight of his words should be like a feather upon you. Because
it's hard,
he is a doo-doo-brained, sexist man stuck in the 50s who doesn't see you as a fully fledged person. He just sees you as, a woman.
But this is her dad. That's super hard to do. Not taking what he says with as a feather.
I guess.
Imagine
your mom it's like after they've had this dance hundreds of times.
Yeah,
still hard. That's how you learn. I wouldn't expect you to get it at, instance number 10.
No, I remember. I was like that. My dad is like that.
I was like that too.
Yeah,
man.
I feel like all our dads were like that.
We were all like that at some point.
Like, oh, your grandfather, my father did this, yada, yada, yada. And you're like, so you're going to do what he did? All right. Good to know.
Yeah, I don't know. I would, like I said, I think I would just go back with just any information about yourself and see if your dad knows it. Just like, Dad, what's my favorite color?
And
he goes, how should I know that? Be like, you're a great dad.
Yeah. You're like, well, my favorite color is red.
Great dad
award.
It
should be red.
Great dad award.
Like, not blue.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't be judging parents based on if they know your favorite color, but it's like...
It sounds like OP's dad, all they know is just how to be a bully and not be a dad.
We have an update. Well, ladies and gents, it's been a week since everything went belly up in the family. I've read all the comments that I received, the advice and the support, and the come to Jesuses that I desperately needed. First of all, I wanted to thank the commenters for their input. It wasn't always easy to read, but it's been a wake-up call, and it's given me strength to not buckle under the fog. Which brings me to today, all of half an hour ago, to be precise. So last time my dad hung up on me, and I later received a phone call from my mom where she let me know that he needed time because this is very hard on him. I decided that if he said he needed time and distance, that's fine. Ask and you shall receive. I didn't plan to reach out for a while. I received a goodnight text from my mom the day after, and my fiance received a happy birthday the day after that. Both were responded to politely but briefly. Somewhere during the past week, I started writing a letter to my parents, outlining my issues clearly, and stating that the door was open if they wanted to work on our relationship. I made it clear that I did not find the way things were going acceptable and that I wanted change in our dynamic. The plan was originally to send it this Friday, but my partner and I decided to give it another week, which brings us to today. I received a message from my mom asking how I've been. I sent back that the past week has been rough. One would think that in light of our last conversation, it would be clear why, but apparently the hint didn't quite land because I then received a concerned message asking what was up. Did something happen? Was it my work? After my eyeballs rolled into the back of my head, I shot back that actually I was very bothered by how our last conversation went. My mom immediately called me, still concerned about if it was something at my job. I'm sure it comes as a surprise to precisely no one that my assessment that, no, it was the substantial falling out that we had just 1 week ago that had me in a funk, went over about as well as a lead balloon. What followed was a 20-minute defense that I was blowing this out of proportion. They felt I wasn't listening to a word they said. It was all just a joke, and I needed to just let it go. My very simple and straightforward question of whether or not my father could promise to henceforth keep his jokes to himself was apparently too difficult to answer.
He's not going to do it because he's going to speak his mind. because he's a man and he should speak. It's his way or the highway is what I'm getting.
Yeah, it's conversations where it's like, you're not listening to us. And we hear you, but we don't care what you say. So we're not going to listen to you. You need to listen to us. We hear that you're upset by the things your father says, but that would require him to change. So we're not listening to you. You need to change and be okay with the things that he says because we're your parents, which is, I don't know if anyone else is picking this up, a real dumb way to think about that from the parents. This is also when I found out my father had been lurking in the background the whole time. I ended up suggesting we drop the call because we were clearly getting nowhere, which they agreed with. And by the way, I want to get you to more full episodes with stories like this on your favorite podcast platform. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, just go ahead and search OK Storytime. You can listen to over 72 days worth of stories just like this one. That's a lot of stories. We have a little bit more story left. Do we have any closing thoughts here?
Hopefully you can take time away from him and there won't be repercussions financially. There might be. Hopefully you're prepared for that. But it seems like, oh, if you're not going to respect me, I'm not going to pay for XYZ. Be ready for that.
Me and my parents had a real contentious relationship before I just stopped arguing. It's like if the conversation brought up something I knew we'd fight about, I just did not have that conversation. And it works.
That makes a lot of sense.
You can't have an argument if half of the argument decides to not engage. Argument doesn't happen. Fight can't happen if you completely disengage from it. And you just have to come to expect my dad's going to try to pull some stuff like that. And you go, oh yeah, I guess I'm a big dumb woman. Ha ha, funny joke. I'm a big stupid idiot, Dad. Thanks. And then you move on. And he goes, oh, does that upset you? You go, nope, I don't care. That was hilarious.
Yeah, and a sense of protection of the dad's words. OP feels violated by that, where the dad's not. He's always poking jokes. When was the last time you said, I'm proud of you? When was the last time you said, I love you?
Yeah.
I actually knew this girl in college where she grew up like this, where her parents always joked at her.
Mm.
She was very good at what she did. She was very good at school, and her career is super good. But when it came to her own relationships, she kind of had dad issues and would look for not the best kind of guys and not the most healthy relationships because it wasn't, I guess, a model for her in her own life. And it really was hard for her. And I'm not a friend anymore, but it was tough watching, for sure.
That's why just be nice, empathetic people to your children.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for not saying if or it's gonna happen, but when he comes to the terms of oh, I hurt her feelings. I'm the bad guy now. I'm the victim.
Oh, yeah.
It's be like, I'm a terrible father. And you're like, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you can see that now.
And then you're going to be like, oh, you hurt my feelings. And you're like, what have you been doing the last 24 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is actually, I need to step away because
I'm a
the
bad
fact
father.
that you're hurt is really too much for me. So I have to
Super.
take a step back.
Yeah, super lame. Low EI.
He's also going to probably pull the financial card where he's like, I'm such a good father. I paid for all of this. I paid for your education. I did this. I bought you this, the house. And you're like, all right, that's half of being the parent is helping out.
Yeah.
Well, let's finish this story, shall we?
Shall.
I have since received another message from my mom saying that they really hoped I could let it go and that my father had said sorry. I asked if that meant he would stop with the jokes and actually received a response this time saying that yes, that's what he said, which is not what he said, but whatever. I haven't responded to the last message, and at this point, I am not entirely sure how to proceed. I have decided that I'll stick to low contact for the foreseeable future, that I'll be working on paying off any and all debts I have with them, and that any gifts or offers of gifts will be politely turned down in the future. Anybody else hearing the Benny Hill tune in the back of their head? And that is the end of that story.
Is there an update on this?
I'm going to check.
Dude, OP, good luck. If there is an update, Dad did not take it well. EI, his emotional intelligence, is very low. And it is so hard dealing with men.
Andale, mama, EI is low.
It's so hard dealing with men with low emotional intelligence because they do not know how to form their words or anything like that. Dude, I used to work with these guys. They would just talk at me for hours. We would sit down for dinner. They wouldn't even eat their dinner. That's how much they talk. It was exhausting.
Yeah. The dinner just gets cold while they speak.
Yes.
Nothing you got to say is that important, boss. Chief.
And all he would do was talk. He wouldn't work. Dude, I'm so glad I was out of that.
Talking.
No updates.
Having a
No
meal
updates.
put in front of me is one of the only things that makes me shut up.
We got another story, guys. My mother demanded I spy on my father's new family.
I spy with my little eye. Who's that guy?
My mother told me she could never trust me again because I'm my father's daughter. That one sentence ruined our relationship.
As it should.
By the way, this comes from OKMix82, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. For context, I'm female 37. My dad left the family for another woman he had been cheating on with my mom for a year in 2013. We were all super close growing up, and this happened about 3 months after my now ex-husband proposed to me. It shocked us all to our cores, and I remember screaming at my dad, "Everything you taught me was a lie," for about 10 minutes, and generally being hysterical. 2 days after this, my mom said those words that would haunt our relationship forever. My sister is my full sister, 3 years younger. That sentence was kind of the beginning of the end of my relationship with my mother. I buried it at the time, but over the years, my mom and I's relationship began to gradually deteriorate, while at the same time, I began to incrementally allow my father back into my life. He and I had many talks about what he did, and he took as much responsibility as he could for how it affected me. He never pushed into building a relationship with me. He allowed me to guide that, and we have been able to get close. He married the woman he left my mom for, and she's actually a lovely person who also allowed me to guide our relationship and how I wanted to interact with her. Honestly, if you cheat on someone, you better be marrying them. You have to.
I guess that's the logical. It would be like, well, you know, like if your sports team loses to somebody, but then they won the Super Bowl, you're like, well, at least you know. Well, we weren't the only ones that lost, right? Like they were going all the way.
Yeah.
That so
Also, you know how conflicting it is having Aaron Rodgers on the Steelers?
why
I don't know what to do with myself.
are you a Steelers fan?
I'm a Packers fan, and I love Aaron
Oh.
Rodgers. And I don't want to be a Steelers fan, but I think I might have to.
You can't be a Steelers fan.
I might have to.
Those don't
You guys
exist
have
anymore.
Micah Parsons. Come on.
Huh?
You have Micah Parsons, though.
We got DK. We got DK Metcalf, too.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Packers are winning the Super Bowl this year.
Huh? No. Steelers. DK's on the Steelers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're winning. In the meantime, my mom just kept talking about how she hoped my dad would pass away and how awful he is. Fast forward a few years, my ex-husband decided he didn't want to be married to me anymore and told me 1 month before I had to have a hysterectomy at 30 years old. He said I gained weight and couldn't love a woman my size. By the way, I did not have a hysterectomy for fun. I was dealing with major issues from endometriosis. Endometriosis month is in May, is that right?
I think it's I think it's-
Endometriosis has a month.
It does.
We gave it a whole month.
We gave it a whole month. Where were you that month?
I guess
It was every day was
we're
we
not
learned
really
a new fact about
enshrining endometriosis. We're just bringing light to it.
it. Every day. Is it April or May?
March.
I was about to say March, but everyone, March is endometriosis
Yeah, well, at
month.
least you found out your husband sucks.
Also, who says like I'm gonna have a hysterectomy just for funsies?
She said she didn't do it for fun.
No.
Yeah, I
but,
just-
like,
I don't know, I just-
maybe it was just like like a play on words, but like
I don't know. I
Yeah.
just thought
so
I didn't
imagine someone's like, oh, you're having that for fun?
just didn't want my uterus anymore. Thought it'd be fun if I got rid of it. Just didn't want that.
I couldn't get out of bed for days on end because of how much pain I was in. So working out was out. My ex didn't cook. He reheated chicken wings and fed me those along with energy drinks. Oh, no wonder I gained so much weight. Anyways, I ended up moving in with my mom and my sister, who is married, and her husband lives in the house too. He and my sister live in the fully furnished basement, complete with kitchenette and a full bathroom. I took the spare room upstairs across from my mom's main bedroom. The house they live in is very nice, and in a small town in Wisconsin. Meta, we were just talking about the Packers.
A small town named Green Bay.
They are definitely cheeseheads. When I moved in December of 2018, my mom immediately wanted to put me in the LLC for her business. But I told her I wanted to wait. This is a tax thing. She could get probably up to $12,000 a year tax write-off. Do it.
Because what? Because you're a dependent?
Or no, probably dependent and also a family member. I had given up my dream property with my custom horse barn, lost my husband, and was still facing having a womb removed. I was not sure what I wanted to do, but that really upset my mom. She didn't say much, but I think we all know what a pursuing of the lips mean. She also told me I was not allowed to contact my father while under her roof. So I would go on long drives with my dogs and hike and talk to my dad during my days off. And he was concerned about the surgery and how I was doing with the divorce. Fast forward to recovering from surgery January of 2019, which takes 6 to 8 weeks, as it's a major abdominal surgery. I was not allowed to even drive, so I would sneak texts to my dad at night to keep him updated on how I was recovering. After the first week, my mom started making noise about me not doing enough around the house. I told her I was still really sore and wanted to try and take it slow, and she didn't seem to like that, but went along with it.
Yeah, Ma, I only had an organ yanked out of my body. Sorry, I'm not as spry on my feet as I usually am.
Dude, that is crazy. Dude, we just need more grace for people. We live in a graceless world.
You're pretty graceful.
You are? Hell yeah.
You are.
Me?
Yeah.
Really?
Like dancing through the raindrops.
So soon after, she started lecturing me about how she didn't get any help when she had her gallbladder removed and still had to carry me and my sister around the house. She did this at the dinner table one night, and I got mad and told her maybe she wouldn't have so many health issues if she had listened to her doctors and forced my father to help her out more.
Boom.
My sister chimed in, siding with my mother, till I began to cry. My sister's husband got up and left the table at that point, which bothered my sister enough to finally get her off my back. I went to my room and cuddled my dogs. This was 4 weeks after surgery. A few days later, my mom asked me to carry cases of wine from the basement to her truck so she could take them to her work for inventory. I told her I would not be able to do that yet, as I still wasn't allowed to drive. It became another fight. Why does she want you to do so much stuff? Does she not understand how much recovery time you
Well,
need?
do you not understand? She had her freaking gallbladder removed.
Oh,
And she still had to carry those babies around. So if I had to suffer, you better believe I'm going to make you suffer twice as bad. Because that's just what any good mom would do in this
you
situation.
need to put interest on it.
Right, my suffering has accrued interest. Get over here. I need to freaking give you an uppercut to the abdomen.
Is there anything else she could have done? Also, the sister's husband, can he not help? I don't know. This is weird. I do not like this.
She's just a mean lady. She's a mean lady. Any parent who's like actively telling their kid after they've had a divorce that it's like your dad's evil and you should hate him and I hate him and he's the worst, blah, 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 blah. It's just a despicable thing to do to your kid. Let your kid decide how they feel about their parents.
So,
Parasites and amoebas.
I started feeling really guilty. So, I gave her money to redo the flooring in her basement and in the guest room and cover the new paint for both areas and bought her a few nice things around the house. I spent around $2,000 to $3,000 to try to keep the peace. Once I was healed, I decided to get a job at a horse farm to help me lose some weight. I still had some money in my savings account, and while I knew it wasn't going to pay well, I needed the mental comfort of being around horses again since mine were still with my ex. I've been with horses since I was 3. I used the money in my sizable savings to help pay for food and whatever else my mom needed, and spend my time gaining my strength back mentally, physically, at the horse barn. But my mother and sister were pissed at my choice of jobs and kept telling me I needed to get back into my profession. I told them I wasn't ready. They didn't like that answer. Sounds like you gotta move, man. Can you live with your dad? Is that a possibility?
I don't know, man. Sounds like the mom is the worst parent, even though your dad didn't have the custody.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like your mom is understanding where you're coming from. If you're going through a divorce and just had lost your house and then had a huge surgery, go work at a horse farm. Go fish in Alaska.
Horses, dude, if your daughter loves horses and she's working at the horse farm recovering from a hysterectomy, just let her work at the horse farm, doofus.
She has
what are
money.
you talking about?
I don't know. This is weird. The breaking point came a couple of months later, July of 2019, when my sister and her husband decided to get pregnant on purpose. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, having just lost my ability to carry a child, but kept quiet about it. A couple weeks later, August of 2019, they announced they were pregnant. I began to internally panic while congratulating them. The timing felt cruel, where I was still recovering from losing my ability to have children, and my sister was flaunting her pregnancy in front of me every day. I feel like that's your perspective on it. I don't know. Maybe she was, but I don't think she got pregnant on purpose. They probably wanted kids. And that.
Yeah, it could feel like flaunting, but it's like that also could definitely happen where it's like, you know, like if somebody loses a relative and then you're around them and all you do is go, oh, I hung out with my relative. I hung out with this relative all week, all day, all whatever. And it was so great. Oh my God, my relative's coming in town they're moving here, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you should have the wherewithal to know, like, maybe don't talk about that so much.
Yeah.
Even though it's a good thing in front of this person, it's not a very, tactful thing to be discussing.
I was hanging around someone that their girlfriend has recently cheated on them. And I was about to mention like, I'm getting a call from my girlfriend, but I was like, I got a call coming. I
Yeah.
gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
crazy story. Okay, so I started throwing out resumes and decided to throw a couple out to California near my dad just to see what happened. And sure enough, a business in California likes me, and I decided to go there and move out. I was not dealing with my sister's pregnancy well, and I was not dealing with my mother very well. Of course, she and my sister got angry I was leaving, but I couldn't handle being there anymore. They get mad at you for having a job. They get mad at you for not helping out. They get mad at you for leaving. You can't do anything. I moved to California within the month, and my relationship with my mom and sister has just fallen apart since 2019. Now my mom demands I spy on my dad and give her information about how much money he makes and his relationship status with my stepmom. And when I don't do that, she becomes irate every single time. And my sister does the same thing. We got into a huge fight last month where my sister told me I just abandoned him. And my mom got pissed once again because I won't spy on my dad for her. My sister blocked my phone and blocked me on all of her socials. My mom hasn't blocked me yet, but I'm not calling her either. So weird.
It's like,
What do you want OP to do? Huh? Nothing's going to make you happy. This is the best call, OP. I'm proud of you for doing this. Moving to California has changed many of our lives. Has definitely changed 2/3 of the people in this room's lives.
yeah, one guy was just born here.
Yeah, he just spawned here.
What's up?
He just didn't have to drive as much.
Were you born here?
Yeah.
But you just-
Question,
yeah,
were you
okay.
conceived here?
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to know.
Was I? Pretty sure I was. No, I have questions.
We want to know everything
don't want
about
the
your
answers.
conception, Keon.
Where, when,
I was born at Cedars-Sinai in Beverly Hills.
how, what was the rank of the conception out of 10?
1 month early.
1 ghost out of 10.
So the irony isn't lost on me. My mom said she couldn't trust me because I'm my father's daughter. But now she wants me to betray that same father to prove my loyalty to her. It'll never be enough, OP. She wants me to become the spy she always feared I would be, except working for her instead of him. It's like she's turning me into the worst possible version of myself of what she accused me of being. What hurts the most is that my sister, who I thought would understand what it felt like to be caught in the middle of our parents' mess, has completely turned against me. She has chosen sides in a war I never wanted to fight. Every conversation with either of them becomes an interrogation about Dad's life. And when I refuse to participate, I become the enemy. I keep thinking about that moment when my mom first said she couldn't trust me. I was just as devastated by Dad's betrayal as she was. Maybe even more so because I had put him on such a pedestal. But somehow, in her mind, sharing his DNA made me complicit in his crimes. That accusation planted a seed of doubt that grew into this monster of resentment and suspicion that's now consumed our entire family. The truth is, I'm not spying for anyone. I'm not choosing sides in their divorce. I'm just trying to have conversations with the people I love, even if they've hurt each other. But apparently, that's not allowed in my family. You're either completely loyal or you're a traitor. There's no middle ground for forgiveness or healing or just trying to move on. So here I am in California, thousands of miles away from the drama, but still somehow drowning in it. My phone buzzes with angry texts from my mom demanding updates on Dad's finances. Even if you had updates on his finances, you're not going to get any of it, right?
You should be like, he has no money. You should be like, we're actually all standing on the corner right now begging. That's actually what he does all day. He goes to the golf course and he drinks the water in the pond there because he can't get any water any other way.
You can make an AI video of him doing all that stuff and she'll believe it.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, he actually I don't know. He goes around to restaurants and he asks for their used sponges and he eats those. He's disgusting.
He's a serial SpongeBob eater.
And I should have listened to you.
But I'm going to stay here.
I'm going to stay here to take care of him. Because he eats a lot of sponges and it takes a lot of work to keep him alive.
My sister posts passive-aggressive social media updates about family loyalty that I can't even see anymore because she's blocked me everywhere. I'm left wondering if the problem is really them or if I'm just as broken as they think I am.
No, the problem is your mom, and she clearly poisoned your sister to such a level that she's like, I don't know, you guys are having like a Game of Thrones style like house war, and it's like, it's not that important.
But what is important is you going to your favorite podcast platform, searching up OK Storytime on iHeartRadio, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. and listen to all the stories that are super important to us. Listen to them. Anything else?
Yeah, I mean, no, clearly you're not crazy. Your mom's trying to make you spot. When did they get divorced? Like
2013.
and this story is recent, so it's been like what?
10 years. Decade.
It's been a decade. She's asking you to spy on him financially. She's a loser.
Yep, she needs to move on. Basically, my mom and sister hate me, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm the problem. Did I abandon them when they need to be most? Am I betraying my mom by having a relationship with my dad? Or am I just a scapegoat for all the pain and anger that nobody knows how to process? The worst part is that I miss them. I miss the family we used to be before everything fell apart. I miss my sister's laugh and my mom's terrible cooking and the way we used to gang up on dad when he told us his awful dad jokes. But if that family doesn't exist anymore, I don't know if it ever will again. Oh, that was a crazy ending to that one.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't think it will because your mom is seems pretty dead set on not letting that exist.
And OP, you're in a transitional state. You've gone through a divorce. You have changed houses. You're in a transitional season. And focusing on settling in this new place in California, I think is best. Because a lot of people go to California for opportunities, and it's usually turns out great. So you're down. You're down right now, but the only thing to go is up. You're going to go up from now on. It's easy.
Yeah, the moment that you like are going through a procedure like that, like a hysterectomy, and then reckoning with all that includes, and your mom is anything short of just like supportive and understanding.
Yeah.
She's bad for that.
Yeah.
She is bad. She's a bad mom for that.
Yeah, agreed.
Because a good mom would be nothing but like, what do you need? I'm sorry. Take as long as you need to recover. Take as long as you need.
Yeah, I'll get someone else to get the wine from downstairs.
Everything's going to be fine. You're going to be okay.
Here's some snacks.
Take your time to get back to normalcy.
Here's a cute dog video I found.
Yeah, instead she's like, get the wine, wench. Wake up. Wake up. It's go down to the basement o'clock and get me my wine o'clock.
Tough. But guys, that's the end of that story. Thanks for watching. If you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
and see you tomorrow.